Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy 3/6 with me, Get Daved. So last time we escaped Narsh, got it to Figaro, met Edgar, and he even though he was supposed to be allied with the Empire, he stuck up for us and found out that he actually is working against them secretly. And now his realm is burning. Of course. Well, apparently lying to Kefka, well, he found out. Way to stay composed, soldier. Uh-oh. Welcome to the barbecue. Yeah. You have more important things. You gotta get out of here with Terra. It's Edgar's moving castle, everybody. No, they cannot. Because among the awesome technical contraptions in Figaro Castle is the ability to hide under the desert. Alright, first things first, let's toast them with some magic. And see a special scene. Unfortunately, we're in a back attack, so... And these guys have high defense anyway, so physical attacks are not particularly useful. You knew she could, Locke. Yeah, way to make her feel awkward, man. There you go. There's always an emulation here. Or emulation error here. In the original, they just walked behind it. But you gotta consider their point of view. For the first time ever, they have something that could maybe give the returners a chance to push back against the Empire. Because the Empire is they're the only ones who have Magitech weapons. Son of a Submariner, you take that back. This is great, we're on the run. You've left your kingdom behind. Possibly. Perhaps not the most sensitive thing you've said, Edgar. Wow, it's pretty cool what you can do. Unfortunately, humans don't have that power. They already did, man. Bain is the leader of the returners. South Figaro, which incidentally is my favorite town in this game, and possibly my favorite town in any video game ever. Also, we're on Chocobos, so no enemy encounters while we're on them. And also, Mode 7 graphics. So we'll just hike over to the cave. And now that we've got Edgar, fights are going to be a lot easier for the next little while. I'm not sure how he's going to find the castle, but although it is implied there's secret passageways in that can be taken. Recovery Spring. You will drink from that many times, because this cave you actually visit at least 3 times in the game. Alright, so the enemies in the cave to South Figaro are not too bad to begin with, but once you factor in Edgar's auto crossbow, which he comes with, not bad at all. Yeah, he's a little overpowered at the start. As the game wears on, the relative quality of his abilities doesn't scale up with everything else, but he's good throughout the whole game, make no mistake. You've already seen these guys. Some enemies have pretty good rewards in here, others not so much, so I wouldn't recommend the cave itself as a place to grind. Also, there are 3 treasure chests in this cave. Every time you have to visit the cave as part of the plot, they get slightly better. So I am not going to loot any of them. I'm just going to take the most direct route out of here. I don't really think any of the enemies in here have good stuff to steal, but you can see the Blearies. They pretty much die the same way all the other enemies in here do. And that's all of the enemies in here. There's only 3 types this time around. The music's nice, though. Alright, and for the first time, you're hearing the main overworld theme of the game, which is fantastic. It's a version of Terra's theme. You heard it at the very beginning of the game as well, or a variant of it, anyway. Grease monkeys and a Rhodox. Grease monkeys actually give fantastic money. Terrible experience, but really good money. 256 coins for each one. So this will serve us quite well. As we're about to visit a town that sells some pretty good stuff. And I absolutely love the music in here. Thanks, it's good to be here. Well, settle down, man. Sprint shoes are not a toy. Sprint shoes, very useful. True Knight, if you have a party member who's low on HP, the character equipped with True Knight will shield them. Yeah, relics do just all sorts of different things. There's sort of maybe 2 groups I would separate them into. Things that give you status immunities, like Goggles and Star Pendant and Jewel Knight, and all of the other, Jewel Ring, and all of the other ones. I'm just gonna buy a Jewel Ring and Sprint Shoes right now, because due to a bug in the game, Dark doesn't actually lower your accuracy, which means there's no point in preventing your characters from getting the Dark status ailment. Star Pendant is actually pretty useful, but you find a few throughout the game. And True Knight, we should find one as well. So I'm just going to equip some sprint shoes. And the jewel ring we're mainly grabbing for later, actually. Probably won't even need it, but Petrify is a very serious status element that you want immunity to. South Figaro, in true steampunk fashion, is full of lots of hidden passageways behind bookcases and all sorts of stuff like that, so it's a lot of fun to explore, and if you know your way around... Yep. I enjoy talking to you in bed, good sir. Complete stranger. Change in music, that's odd. Okay, so Duncan is his teacher. That part's true. Duncan, just so you know, is a martial arts instructor. He didn't just send his kid to military school or whatever. What are you doing? Alright. It's pretty funny, I don't actually remember that detail. Can't talk to the dog. You'll note right when we entered South Figaro, you could see him walking to the bar. Shadow's a pretty badass character. He does not have a happy tail. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Alright then. You have yourself a good day. Very rarely there's an item inside one of the teapots on an oven. Or at least I interpret it as a teapot on an oven. Maybe it's just part of the furnace for the whole thing. That's my job, delivering cider. You're a busboy. All of these little details are useful to remember about the town, though. Oh, I already talked to you. You can watch the man go deliver cider, but I have other things to learn. There's a few nifty items scattered throughout South Figaro. Wow, pretty pessimistic little kid. Alright, please move. Green cherries reverse the imp status ailment, which is actually a bit of a wild card, but we'll talk... Well, I guess we'll talk about it now. So if your characters get the imp status ailment, you turn into an imp, and it nerfs all of your stats. But there are some very special pieces of equipment that only raise your stats if you're an imp, but they raise them quite a bit. Hey, wait, what? Where's the draft coming from? That's a good question. Behind the hidden passageway. Or perhaps the hidden passageway itself. And if you walk all the way down through here, there's a secret basement with some good stuff in it. Hyper Wrist is one of the best relics in the game. And the running shoes aren't bad either. Probably gonna put both on lock for now. I'm just gonna take a moment to explain the stats here. Vigor, sometimes called your character's strength, factors into both the physical damage they deal and the physical damage they take. So it's a really good, really important stat. Speed, it tells you how fast your gauge is going to fill in combat. It has a constant added to it, which I think is actually 96, so even though Locke has 10 more speed than Edgar, he is not 33% faster. So speed it's pretty rare that a speed bonus will actually allow a character to get a turn sooner, so it's not as useful as it is in a lot of other games in the series. Stamina factors into your resistance against some types of magic attacks. It's not that great. Magic power is how strong your magic is in terms of just damage and healing power. It's really good. And then battle power, strength of your weapon, plus, you know, different characters have a bit of a bonus to their battle power. Defense is not a percentage, but a per hexadecimal percentage. It's a ratio out of 255 for how much damage gets filtered out. So, if you had a defense of 128, you'd filter out just over 50% of the damage you take. Evade percent does nothing in this game. Magic defense is your resistance against magic damage, and it's again taken out at 255. And magic block is your chance of evading all attacks in this game, even physical ones, again due to a bug. Block would be a lot more useful if you could dodge a quarter of the incoming attacks, but that's okay. We'll be able to inflate characters' evade stats later. And Locke is still a very good character. P.S. If you need money, there's $2,000 back here. But I'm going to save it for later. For no reason whatsoever. If you don't discover this room the first time you visit South Figaro, it's not a big deal. Kids talking about Magitech armor. Even dined with General Leo, and he's writing a letter saying, "Attack from the east. We should execute this man." I find the music here so peaceful. Elixir and a grandfather clock. And if we go through here, another secret passage. I'm showing you all these things because we'll be revisiting South Figaro, and the more you know your way around these secret passages, the easier it will be. And I remember the first time I played through the time you revisit South Figaro. Took a long time to learn all these. And you know what, let's talk to this guy. Ah! Oh yeah, the jerk with the cider. So, we're gonna have to assemble all these pieces of information in the final, or the next time we visit this town. Is he gonna take the secret passage? Nope. I like the town so much because it's pretty straightforward to get around, but there's a whole bunch of little tricks you can learn to really zip around, so you always feel like, I don't know, there's still fun things to learn. Alright, Mount Colts is to the east. We've heard about that before. And now the main attraction. Edgar comes with a mithril blade, which is usable by Locke. Normally we'd buy a regal cutlass for Edgar and Terra, but Edgar's using that mithril pike, so we don't need that. I am going to buy the noise blaster and the bio blaster now, even though we could go to Figaro Castle at some other point and get them for half off. It's not a huge deal to me. Heavy shields are great. Let's buy a couple. The hairband has no advantage over the plumed hat. Sometimes there's some cheaper helmets that have extra stat bonuses, so their raw defense power will be lower, but they'll give you vigor bonuses and stuff like that. Not this time. And we have just enough money for all of the equipment we need. There's also a delightful little button called Optimum you can click, and it just puts the best equipment in terms of raw stats on each of your characters. Locke's weapon is lagging a little bit behind everyone else's, but that's okay. We'll find a new one for him pretty quickly. Last step is to find the warp stone. Warp stones cost 700 gold, and you can't find them for quite a while, and they are pretty useful tools to have on hand, so I recommend you grab that one. You probably won't use it, but it warps you out of an area, so that's nice. Whoops. And there's one last place I want to check out. I want to talk to Duncan's wife. Okay, well, a lot of people are talking about Mount Colts, which is to the east, so I think that's where we're going to have to go. There's a back exit to the town over there, but someone was standing in the way, so we got to go out the front. There's also a chocobo stable if you want to rent another chocobo. I do not. I wonder if we can get at these boxes. I did not know about that! Welcome to Learning Time with me, Get Daved! Alright, the last thing I want to check out in this video is up here. House in the middle of nowhere. What is that smell? His favorite flowers. His favorite dishes. His favorite tea. And this, his favorite bed. Who is he? Edgar's twin brother, Sabin. It's a person, Edgar. Master Duncan was slain into the... So Vargas is Duncan's son. Vargas resented Duncan for the strict martial art lifestyle he was raised in. Duncan was slain, both Sabin and Vargas in the mountains. These sorts of situations often end well, but we'll find out about that in the next video. I'll see you there.